Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to my horrible lighting. But let's see if I'm doing this right. I just want to welcome you guys. Let me look on my. So one of the things I was gonna do it in my living room, but I got literally plaster um, everywhere doing like home construction. So I think we are good. Let me. I don't know how to see the comments. If you can see me, okay. Kenya, thank you for telling me okay, cool. We're gonna get started. Who else is here with me right now? Okay, y'all are coming on. We'll probably give about maybe 5 minutes to to roll on. Excited to share with you. I'm sorry for the lighting situation. I just don't have the best setup today, but pay attention to the content and we're gonna get it. So we got Joyce. Can we get some more light though? You know you're dark. I know, I know. Literally, the only thing the most ghetto setup I could do is I have my phone if I was to light myself like this and hold it, but I don't feel like holding that the whole time. Oh man, but I have some cool stuff to share with y'all tonight. It's been an incredible journey. I mean, you're gonna be learning about how me and Tiffany became business partners. You're gonna be learning how I really, how I started literally in foster care to, traveling the world and so many other, let's see who else is in here. Cool. Let's see if we can see, hold on one second. All right. Let's see here. Woo, I'm actually sweating. It's so hot now. I know I get so nervous. I'm not actually nervous. It actually got hot. I didn't have a show. It's 2 o'clock in the morning here in London. I'm actually in London currently. Cool. We're about to get this show on the road. I see people coming in. I wonder if Tiff's on yet. Let's see if I see Tiff. Cool. So, and if you don't know me, real quick, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been traveling around the world for the last 8 years nonstop while running my business from my laptop. And then also, I am Tiffany, the queen, the budgetista, actual business partner. And so, yeah, I'll talk about how we literally started the academy together, how the idea came about, and just a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that you probably do not know. Hello from Baltimore. Cool. Awesome. Cool. Well, I have some notes because I actually want to stay on task here. And then, yo, this light is killing me. Y'all just gonna have to listen. This is gonna be a ghetto production because when I put this light on me, the heat is absolutely killing me. So I can't do it. Let me turn this off. All right. So for me, my journey actually started here in England. So I was born in England, born in London, England, but I was raised in Chicago. And so for the first 3 months of my life, I was with my parents, with my mom and my dad. And then from there, I actually went to go live with foster parents for the next 9 years of my life. It was an interesting experience, but my foster parents were really like my real parents because I spent so much time. I mean, I spent all my time with, my foster mom and my foster dad. And then that was in a place called, like in Southern England. And it was a learning experience. It was a different experience for me. And the thing is, I was lucky and blessed to actually have some amazing foster parents. I know a lot of people that put into foster care don't normally have the best situations, and I was blessed just to be with one, foster family the whole time. I got treated like like their own. And I still talk to him to this day. We have a very close relationship. And so that was the early part of my life. And I didn't really, I mean, we weren't rich, far from it. But from there, I didn't really see like too much struggle. It wasn't like, I was worrying about where my meal was coming from. So it wasn't really bad. And then when I was 9 years old, I ended up moving back to America. Well, I'm actually moving to America with my mom, because now my mom was like, okay, I've got myself together. I'm ready to do this. And we ended up moving to Chicago. And, moving from England to Chicago, it's a whole different type of experience. And I lived in Southern England. So Southern England is, and basically it's like as white as can be, very quite suburban, not rich, but it's just a vast contrast to Chicago. So when I got to Chicago, my mom, just kind of giving me the morning, hey, what's it called? Just got shot here the other day. I was like, oh Lord. And I got my English accent. I was like, yo, how am I going to survive? And we ended up living with my uncle in Chicago for a few months. He took us in, and so he already had, though, my uncle had a wife and already had 3 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment. So it was me, my mom, and my brother on a pull-out sofa in the living room. So that was kind of our situation. And then we got to go live with another family member, or my dad's brother. And that really made life quite a bit better. We had our own bedroom now, and we moved to the suburbs. If any of y'all from Chicago, we moved to a place called Mount Prospect, Illinois. And it's a really nice place, even though we didn't have the biggest place, but we had our own bedroom now for me, my mom, and my brother to share. And that's where, life started to change. But then it was getting a little too much for my uncle. And then we ended up moving into our own 1-bedroom apartment. So that's kind of like my early kind of childhood. And my mom, always did her best, put good values into us. But financially, she was not, she wasn't really getting it, I would say. I mean, still to this day, she's never made more than $25,000 in a single month. I mean, not in a single month, in a year. And so our allowances as kids was, my allowance was $3 a week. And then my brother's was $2 a week since he was younger. He's like 3 years younger than me. And I was like, $3, this don't work. Like, I can barely get a Big Mac. And so from there is really where my entrepreneurial journey started. And I was going to school, because I was in the suburbs. I was going to school with kids that was getting like $10, $15 a day for like lunch. I'm like, damn, I had like the free lunch, right? So I, just get the ticket, and we'd have the free lunch. And I was like, man, I need some of their money. So what I would do is I would go to like a place like Walgreens. I don't know what you have, maybe it's CVS where you are around the country. And I would end up getting Warhead candies, buying for like $2, and then I'd end up selling them for like 25 cents a piece. So I'd make like 2 or 3 times, the investment that I made, on the purchase. And I would do that, and I would flip, fat. And that was when I was like in like 4th, 5th grade. Because being broke, and then when you were around, people with more money than you, I had the feeling of like, I really felt inadequate. Because I was like, man, damn, they can buy the cookie at lunch, they can do all these different things, and me here with the free lunch. So I was like, okay, I got to figure out a way to level this playing field. And then when I got to junior high, I started selling. So my dad, I gotta kind of rewind. Even though I've never lived with my dad, my dad has actually been a big supporter of my entrepreneurial journey. And I have to give him that credit. I didn't spend much time with my dad, but he was always, telling me, because from a young age, I was like, I wanted to do things. And I said, hey, Dad, can you buy me this computer? And so he ended up buying me, I don't know if you remember the brands back in the day. I had a compact Presario, and I had a CD burner in it. And so from there, I was like, I don't know, let me know in the comments. Do y'all remember Napster? Do you remember Napster at all? Y'all remember Napster? Yeah, okay. I remember Napster. Yeah, okay. Now, They say I tell you this. So it's like it gets light, it gets dark. And so I would download all these songs, obviously illegally, um, from Napster. And then so the kids at school, I was like, yo, let me make the CD for you, $5 a pop. And then from there, what I would do to make it special for them is I would make them an intro, and I'd also make them an outro because I had a microphone. So I'd be like, yo, this is my homie, Jose. What's up, my G? I hope you enjoy the CD. And then like I'd give him an outro. It's like, yo, holla at your boy, man. I hope you've enjoyed this. Is DJ Jubril on the mic. And then they just really enjoyed it because they get to hear their name on the CD, and they got, their custom tracks. And that's what I started doing in junior high. I started making like $100, $200 a week, having that hustle. And then I came across eBay in my teenage years. And so with this, it changed my life in ways that I can't even begin to tell you. So this is like while I'm in high school now. And obviously you all remember eBay. And so I first started off selling like these Sonic the Hedgehog toys. And I was like, yo, I was buying them from Waldo's dollar store for like $1. And then they were going for like $15 to $20 on eBay. So I was like, damn. So I bought like 40 of them, flipped them. But then after that, it was all done. And I was like, damn, what am I going to sell next? And so I was looking on eBay, and I was like, oh snap, they got like weight loss supplements. And then so you might be saying like, I don't know, how you know this as a teen? I don't know. It just kind of downloaded it. I've always been quote unquote like that hustler, always looking for the next thing. And for me, I was like, man, this internet thing is so real. And so from there, I was looking at the weight loss supplements, but I didn't know how the supplier. So I actually messaged one of the guys selling on eBay. And then I was like, man, I don't know if your products are safe, bro. Like, I don't know. I don't trust you. And he's like, nah, man, my products are safe. The manufacturers down here in Florida buying nutricals down in Florida. And he's like, here's all the information. I was like, all right. And then I was like, and then from that point, now the boy got the connect. I got my plug for my pills. And then so that's how I found out, the supplier. And then I would literally buy these pills. So at wholesale, I could buy them for $2 a pill, and I was selling them for like $16 a pill. And then back then, because free shipping was such a big thing, if they ordered 4 or more, I'd give them free shipping. And things just started to go nuts. I mean, I'm in high school. This might sound crazy, but I started making 5 figures a month when I was in high school. And nobody could tell me nothing. I was buying cars. I had 2 TV. I had like this huge 58-inch TV in my room. I had a plasma. I had like probably like 40, 50 pairs of Jordans. But the thing is, because I was a teenager and I was still living at home, that's the only time in my life I've ever felt rich, like truly, because at that time I couldn't spend all the money. When you're competing with, teenagers in high school, there's not really much to compete. You only can buy, a certain amount of things. And so I was just, saving money, back then. And then from there, I actually got started in this industry called network marketing and direct sales. I learned a lot, but looking back, if I could have skipped it, I probably would. I saw this ad on eBay, like this guy, he was standing in front of, he had like a Lincoln Navigator, a BMW, and like a Mercedes in this huge house. And I was like, damn, he looks like he's living a lot better than me. And so I said, all right, let me get signed up. So I did that, and I come to find out the house wasn't even his. The cars were his, but he took a picture in front of a house that wasn't even his. I was like, oh, okay, learn about the internet and authenticity. And but after a while, like I did well, with that company, but I wasn't really enjoying it after a while. And then I left eBay alone for a while. And then so at 18, now my mom was like, yo, and my mom, so I'm Nigerian, and my mom is all about education. She's like, this internet thing, it is a fad. It is a fad. If you don't go to school, you're going to have to move out of this house. You cannot stay in this house if you don't move. And then for me, I said, yo, peace, I'm out. And so I moved actually to Arizona, and life was good for a while. And then I tried to get back on eBay, but the thing is, eBay changed the way that they were doing things. And then, long story short, within this next 2 years, my whole life basically fell apart. My whole life fell away and apart that I was like, oh snap, like I'm really about to run out of savings. I've got like nothing left. And now I'm about, it was about 20, 21. I ended up having to move back to Chicago, and I moved home. And then my mom, talk about one of the most humbling experiences, and my mom is one of those people like, I told you that internet thing is not real. It is a fad. You need to go to universities. What did I tell you? Well, you're trying to waste your life. And I was like, but when you broke, you have no voice. You can't say nada. And so I was just humbly in the house. And one thing that I also learned is my success before was, it was a little bit lucky. Not completely, but with eBay, I didn't learn the power of advertising. All I really had to do was list my products up, and it was such a good time because there was no one else. There wasn't huge competition, and then so I would be selling so much. But eBay was the master of driving the traffic, and when they changed their algorithms and all of that, and there was more sellers and competition on there, I said, man, it's not like before, and I couldn't get that going. And then the next humbling thing, I got my first ever job. I worked at, so I was 21, and I got my job at AIU University, making $15 an hour, enrolling people into university, online university. And man, you talk about, yeah, it was just humbling because as a young kid, I was like, man, I know everything. Nothing can go wrong. Man, it was just so much fun too. And then I was doing things, I was taking like 15 kids at a time from my church, like in a stretch limo to like games at United Center. From that height to, working, and I worked part-time, and I was making about $240 a week. And and then people coming up to me and like knowing where I was before, and then some people cracking jokes. I couldn't even afford T-Mobile no more, so I got Boost Mobile. They're like, and I'm getting upset now because I'm getting like text message and I'm getting charged 10 cents a text. I'm like, yo, life has to change. Like, I'm getting upset over a $10 text message because I didn't have like a plan. I just had like a prepaid pay as you go. And then so what ended up happening is I said, I have to actually learn advertising. And then here's another actually really big thing for me was when I was like 17, about 17 years old, I started filling my mind with really powerful books and education. So when I was 17, I was reading Think and Grow Rich. I was reading Richest Man in Babylon. I read The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews, like The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace E. Wattles, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and then learning the different quadrants that you really want to be in. So all of these things, and I was learning about people like Jim Rohn and Les Brown, all of these amazing individuals that helped change my mindset. And so when I was getting down thinking about like how am I going to go on, like I would I'd hop on YouTube and get inspiration. And so and then here was kind of like the defining moment. I was really learning Google AdWords back in the day. So I was learning, if you don't know what Google AdWords, basically it's the advertising platform that Google uses. And this was, so I played with it before, but I wasn't an expert. So I actually got help from a mentor, and I started to learn it. I was like, wow, okay, I can actually start to make stuff happen. But I was still really broke, like so bad that like the internet at the house got cut off. Like I'm supposed to be running the internet business, and the internet got so past due, it got cut off. And if you know anything about Chicago, and this is in the wintertime, oh my God. So for me, man, there was nothing that was going to stop me from my dreams. So I ended up going to the public library pretty much like every day. And when it snows in Chicago, especially in the suburbs, man, it's no joke. I was literally, I'd run about a mile from my crib to the library, and when it snowed, the snow sometimes could be like a foot and a half. So now I'm trucking through the snow Like, and it was just like, man, how long am I gonna go through this? And for me, in my head, I was like, as long as it takes. As long as it takes, that's what I'm about to do. Because the reason was I've seen what was possible before. Now I just had to figure out a new way, to make it happen. And so, I was doing that for another like 3 months or so. And then I really figured out the power of marketing, and I got introduced to affiliate marketing and using Google AdWords. And then from there, so now it's about 22, my life changed forever. Because now I understood the power of marketing, where I wasn't dictated by like really a system. I knew how to generate traffic. And when you can do that for a business, if you know how to always get people coming to a business, you're always going to be in power, and you're always going to be valuable to the marketplace. And so that's what I did. And for me, I was getting kind of tired of Chicago. And so what I did is I said, hey, let me start traveling around the world. I'm gonna do a year trip around the world. And then it was January 2010 when I took off on a trip around the world. And when that happened, man, it was, like Will Smith, like in Pursuit of Happiness, where he's like, he gets the news, he got the job. That was me when I got on the plane and I was heading to Hawaii. I don't even know how to really put it into words. Because of how much struggle I went to, like before when I was up, then coming down. And I think it was good that I got humbled, because I don't know if I didn't get humbled, my head would have been like this. And yeah, when things got bad, man, it got really bad. And when I say I sold all my Jordans, I'm actually glad I bought those. Those were actually a quote unquote good investment. I actually made more money on my Jordans when I sold that. Like I sold my car, like everything. I did all that just to stay afloat, and get the business rolling. And then so fast forward 2011, I go to Thailand, and here's one of the things that I saw. What I would call working remotely. I don't know if you know this stat, but by 2020, 50% of the workforce is going to be working remotely. 50%. Look it up. It's crazy. Even when I look at the business, me and Tiffany we have 100% of our employees work remotely. And I think we have 13, 14, don't quote me, but everyone works remotely, and we've only met like 2 of the employees, but we'll be meeting up later on in this year. And so it shows you the way the world is changing. And for me, being from Chicago, I didn't really, it was kind of to see different things and go to different places. All my friends back home from Chicago, none of them, like I got like 3 main friends, my friend Quantarius, Marcus, and Shamar. None of, like literally Shamar's still never been on a plane. And so I'm 31 now. And then I gave my boy Marcus and my boy Dimp a goal. I said, yo, man, get that first international stamp before 30. Like they both got on their first plane like at 29 years old. So like we're not used to traveling and doing certain things. Like here's another crazy thing. I talk about my brother a lot, man, 'cause I love this guy. But in my neighborhood, even though we grew up in this place called Hoffman Estates, we grew up in this neighborhood called Steeple Hill and Highland Crossing. In that neighborhood, my brother was like, it's crazy. Like it's a huge kind of complex, and it's like the part of the zip code that messes up all the demographics financially, right? If you know anything about like Hoffman Estates or Schaumburg, it's a fairly good neighborhood. But literally the property value of our apartment in 2009 or 2010 was like $30,000 for our 2-bedroom, to kind of to paint a picture of the kind of place that we lived. And we were going to school though with kids that were making like their houses were like $500,000. My girlfriend, her house was like $800,000 in high school. And so it's remarkable that, but once you're around those things, you pick up on certain things. Some people are like, oh, that's a life for other people. But I was always intrigued on how this was happening. So I was always asking questions, I was always reading these books. And then so once I started to get this information, one of the things that I love to do is also spread the knowledge. And so I uploaded, if you go look, if you want to see some funny videos, look at my old YouTube videos from like 2006. And so I would see topics and I'd say, why is there no video on Black billionaires? So I would literally, pick up Forbes magazine and then I'll go and create that video. Like, you can go look it up right now, like or after this call, literally I would make these videos and then you would see the difference over time too. So I made the first one, I think it was like 2009, and like super ghetto, like banging in my white tee, the worst lighting like this. And like the t-shirt's way too big for me, but I'm breaking down, like the top 10, Black billionaires in the world, because nobody was creating the content. And then I did another one like 4 years later, and I'll do another one probably in the next few years, and I want to do it now with the actual people and sit down and interview them. Right, so it's always been a passion of mine. Once I get certain type of information, or I would teach people about traveling. So like in Thailand, some of you guys might have seen, let me know in the comments if you've ever seen any of my passport heavy videos. Let's see. Okay, some of you have seen it, but the majority probably, and there it got lighted for a second. Okay, cool. And where was I? Right here. So I was talking about Thailand, right? So when I went to Thailand in 2011, and I was saying, like, I saw I went to this place called Chiang Mai, Thailand. I saw 4 Black people in about 4 months. Like, I'm like, every time, it wasn't even like a head nod. It wasn't the head nod when you see a Black person. It's like, yo, what's up, man? How you doing? When you see another brother. But one of the things that really intrigued me about Thailand was how developed it was, how amazing the people were. One of the things for me is I loved to actually, interact. I would be, I'd stay at like a hostel sometimes, and people have these misconceptions of hostels, and like, because they've seen the movie, but these were, just like hotel rooms, really beautiful. But we'd be on the rooftop sometimes. There'd be like a German person on the roof. We'd have like a Korean person, maybe one person from Ghana, like another person from America, Canada, Australia, and then we'd all be on the table, get a cheap bottle of whiskey for like like $6, and then share our experiences, and then also find out about each other's cultures. Because I'm like, back home in Chicago, I didn't know anyone from overseas. Like, it was like one thing, like, oh my God, you going overseas? You crazy. Like, that's super expensive. That's for superstars. And so one of the things that really inspired me to start making my travel content and, and travel videos was to educate people. And I'd actually make videos about, I'd say, Black people in Thailand, because one of the top things I'd want to know, I'd search it, there was no information. And so from there, I'd also tell people about the cost. So you could have an apartment, like a really nice apartment in Chiang Mai, in a great building, for like $300 a month. $300 a month. And I'm talking about like a pool in the building. I'm talking about a doorman. I'm talking about wood floors. I'm talking about, that nice, fresh, white, kind of apartment. And then, a gym in the building. Like, I'm talking real nice. Like in New York, something similar would probably hit you for like $3,500 a month. Even $4,000 a month, especially if you're in like, if you're there in Brooklyn, or if you're in one of those buildings in Manhattan, at least 4, for a 1-bedroom. In Chicago, $2,500 a month, for that level of building. And out there, it was like $300 a month. And I was like, man, you can take a taxi for about a fourth of the price that it would cost in Chicago, and all of these different things. And I was like, wow, the cost of living is incredible. You can literally, a lifestyle that would cost $10,000 a month in Chicago will cost you about $2,000 a month, right? And so as the internet was growing as well, I said, wow, I don't even have to go home all the time. I actually want to explore. I want to see more. I want to see more countries. So 1 year turned into 2 years, to 3 years, to 4 years. And it's actually just now, this year, I've actually settled here in the UK and, got the apartment here. But I'm still, traveling on a regular basis. But that's why I started to make the travel content, because I wanted to show people like what is available and show them the details, because so many different people as well, they have this misconception that, you know, travel is expensive, and everyone wants to almost like kind of stunt and be like, yo, I'm the dopest, like look at my gram, look at this, but they don't want to show you the how. And I show people, yo, this is dope stuff, but let me show you the cost. Like, it's not actually as expensive as you actually think. And so people really started to gravitate towards, you know, the content that we started putting together. So that's how the whole travel stuff started. And now let me talk about how I actually connected with Tiffany. And just call it God's plan, God's sent. You know, I'm so grateful for her. And so we met in this group. Shout out to Avita. There's a group called the Madness Travel Tribe. And then we were in there. And then it's like 1 year I would win like Entrepreneur of the Year. And then another year, you know, Tiffany would win it. I was like, yo, who's this girl? And, you know, we start talking and, you know, we'd be connecting. And, you know, that was it. Just for like 3 or 4 years, you know, just conversation here, a little comment. And then she started to reach out to me. I reached out to her. And then we were talking, and this was in 2015. And I was coming to New York, and she's like, oh, you know, let's link up. And because she was telling me about some of the problems that she was having in her life. So now, you know, she had passed her, you know, her struggle years. And I think she just crossed like the 6-figure marks, making like maybe 100,000, you know, maybe 125,000 a year. Good money, right? You know, good money. But she told me the issue that she was having is that she was having now to travel because she was speaking at all of these different conferences. And at the time, you know, her husband now, Superman, was her boyfriend. And she's like, I actually want to invest in my relationship. I want to be home more. And he's always like, why are you gone? Right? And so I want something that's going to enable me to come home more. And so I said, yo, you got a dope thing. She just launched like her first challenge. And I said, you know, what are you doing online? What money are you making online? And she said, nothing. I said, bruh, what you mean nothing? She's like, yeah, I was like, you doing anything with affiliate marketing? She's like, affiliate marketing? What's that? I was like, my thing is say no more, say no more. I was like, yo, Tip, get ready. It's about to be a fun ride. And so the thing that attracted me, you know, most to Tiffany was just how genuine she was. And she truly gave a fuck about the people that she was serving. And that was like, I was like, man, it was so refreshing. Before she does anything, she's always asking, how is this going to serve the community, right? So it's always serving over money. And it was so attractive to me. And at the beginning, I said, you know, hey, like we had these ideas, like let's start an academy. And then also I said, hey, you're referring people to these products like Ally Bank and all these things. That's like, you could actually get paid for that. Like you're referring people for free, but you could actually get paid for that. Like, or if you're referring someone to maybe like a self-lender or, you know, all these different programs, I said, you can actually get compensated for that. And she's like, really? I was like, yeah, really. And so we started to set up, you know, campaign. We started to put together videos. And so my specialty is Facebook ads and the ability for storytelling. And so what ended up happening is we started to promote, you know, the challenges. And so at the time we had like the 36-day all around challenge. And we went from literally so it took her about, I think it was like, she was already running her business for 5 years. She had the email list to about 10,000. And also she had the group, the Dream Catchers, up to about 10,000. So like really solid and a solid foundation. But when we literally activated the ads and started, you know, kind of going crazy, in that next 4 months, we went from 10,000 people on the list to over 70,000 women on the list, and something similar within the Dreamcatcher group. It was like, whoa. And she was like, whoa. And, you know, and then within that next year, you know, we also launched the Academy. It was a lot of work. And then I don't know if some of you have been here since the beginning. The old Academy, we have some new changes coming. Oh, I am so excited for some of these new challenges coming. So we launched it. And then, it went well. We had a good opening launch, but then we weren't happy with the customer experience. We literally shut it down for like 8 months. I was like, Tiff, we're not bringing any new people. She was like, yo, we have to make this academy dope before we bring in any more people. I was like, it's 8 months, come on. And, but, I understood it. And yeah, we continue to grow. So once we open back up, we got the ads cranking. And, long story short, it's been one of the best things that's ever happened to me, because I see a lot of you remind me of, my mother, my aunties, and all these different women, in my life. And I'm like, we have the ability now to not only impact the women here directly, but literally impact the whole United States. And, that's the kind of goals, that we have, because we understand, what it means for, a woman to have, solid credit. What does it mean to learn how to invest? I think it was Jasmine, who's in the group. She was a school teacher, but she didn't know the first thing about investing. And then she was taking a class by, I forgot this, our stock traders, our stock training teacher, but she learned from there. And then she's buying stocks on Amazon. She's buying stocks on Facebook. She bought, I think it was a Nike stock. I forgot, but like her return after like 1 year, she like doubled the value of her stock. And before, she didn't even know how to open a stock. And so this is the type of thing that inspires me so much, because it's more than, just making money. We literally are fulfilling a purpose. And so many people, so Tiffany, school teacher, and she learned her financial education from her father. And so she doesn't, quote unquote, have the, you wouldn't picture her being like, a huge successful entrepreneur like she is, because that's society's standards. But I will tell you this, if you have skill sets, you can literally package them up and make money. And I just want to kind of share some, different examples with you, just to kind of get your mind moving if you want to take that, entrepreneurial route. So I know of a woman, so even talk about school teachers. So she was a 2nd and 3rd grade teacher, and she wasn't enjoying all the politics of school. So she was looking for a way. As much as she loved the kids, she was like, I hate the politics of the school system. It's getting crazy here now. And so what she did is she was really good at making lesson plans. So she created a business all about making lesson plans for 2nd and 3rd grade teachers. And now she makes literally 6 figures a year just by preparing lesson plans, for teachers. I have a friend named Jermaine Griggs. So Jermaine Griggs, and you want to write some of these names down, go ahead, look up Jermaine Griggs. And if you've ever seen House Hunters, he was on there, has a beautiful family. He's almost, I call him like the Barack Obama of the internet. And so he did the whole, he was really good at music. And so what he did is he taught people how to learn piano online. And then back in the day, he was doing this from like the 2000s, where he was literally sending like CDs and DVDs back in the day. Now it's on, now it's all digital, but he's made over $10 million. And his website is Hear and Play, right? And, just a very, very powerful individual. I have one of my good friends. So Renee, so you talk about Instagram. A lot of people don't understand how Instagram works. Some of these girls are making, 6 figures a year from doing influencer campaigns. And a lot of like, oh my God, how are they flying? How are they doing all of this? It's because of the power of advertising. So here's something that I want you to kind of keep in mind and understand, the time and history that you're in right now with social media. And let me take a look here real quick. Let me make sure I'm still going. So Jermaine Griggs. Yeah, and then they on the gram too. They just got shared big. That's like, he's one of my, really good friend. I love him. He's kind of, he's like a big brother to me. And so let's talk about, what was I just talking? I lost my train of thought. I was talking about Instagram, influencers. The last name, it was Greg. So you can see it there in the comment. And then I'll tell you another example here real quick. So there was this card game. So I have this friend named Lars, and he, oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. My bad. I forgot. I'm actually gonna show you this here real quick. Let me see if I can share screen. And I know I can share screen or something. Forget it. Forget it. I'm gonna end up breaking this thing. And so I want you to let me know. Give me a yes in the comment box if you know the magazine Cosmopolitan magazine, like the beauty and fashion magazine. Okay. Now I want you to ask us. I want you to guess. Guess in the question box. How much do you think a full page color advertisement is in the Cosmopolitan magazine? Take a guess. How much do you think an ad is in the Cosmopolitan magazine? So give me a number. Let's see here. Let's see some of the guess. All right. So Deidre says 15,000. Petta says 1,000. Trisha says 2 million. God. Anita says $500. Denisha says 1,500. Gwen says 15,000. Don says 10,000, 100,000, 10,000. Okay, 2,500. So the actual price, you can look this up if you want to look it up. It is, drum roll please, a full color page ad right now in 2018 is $335,000. $335,000 for a one page ad, a color ad in the magazine. So 350,000, not 35,000, not 3,500,000, 300 or $335,000 is the price of an ad in the magazine. So now I want to tell you why this is relevant and why you're in such a special time in history right now. It's like, what? They said, Lord, shut the front door. Damn, that's a lot. Right? And so when you're thinking about these Instagram, even talking about Instagram influencers, a lot of them are getting paid, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for a single post, right? When they have, some of them have followings of 100, 200, 300,000, followers. Some have millions, and so you have to think about. So let's see this magazine, and then so the total reach for the magazine, Cosmo has a readership monthly of about 3.6 million people. So about 95% of them are on subscription, and about 5% of them actually buy it on a monthly basis, right? From the from the store at the airport, about from the book stands, about 5%. And so here's the thing to realize. Now, how many of you, like the consumption of a magazine, people don't even read magazines or consume magazines in the same way that they did before, right? So people, women in the salons, they would pick up the magazine and read it while they're waiting to get their hair done. They would take the magazine to the bathroom. Now, what do people do? It's this thing, right? It's 2:46 a.m. where I'm at. I'm up late for y'all, but they use their phone, right? They use a phone, and so with something like a Facebook ad or even an Instagram ad, you can run an ad starting at like $5 a day. And here was another funny story. I have to tell you. Tiff will probably, I don't know if you want me to tell this story, but so when we were starting our business, I was like, Tiff, we need to run some ads, and then she was like, run ads? I don't know. I get my traffic for free. I'm popping on Facebook. I was like, that's cool, but we can reach a lot more people. And I was like, she's like, all right, then what do you think we're gonna start at? I was like, maybe like $100, $200 a week. She's like, where that kind of money gonna come from? Where we gonna get the budget for that? I was like, You got to put it in to make. She's like, oh no, like I don't know about that. That don't sound good. $100 for advertising, and then I was like, Tiff, all right, forget it. I'll put my credit card on file. I believe I already know what's going to happen, and then so that's how we started running ads. But to tell you the power of and the difference and the time in history that you are is so. You know, when you're looking at a magazine, let's just say something like MAC Cosmetics, right? They have the ad, they spend their 335 grand. It's a picture of a girl, whatever that it is, right? Now, it's like, how many people are even going to see it? Now, what you can do, though, is you can reach those same 3.6 million people who have talked about Cosmo magazine in a comment or have liked their fan page through an ad on Facebook, and then you could do a video ad. You can do, you know, something really interactive. And then versus 335,000, you could pretty much reach that reach of 3.6 million for about $30,000 to $40,000, right? But you don't have to start that big. You can start, like I said, with, you know, just a small ad, and that's what's changed in these times. So back in the day, if you're running a TV ad, if you're doing magazine, if you're doing radio, you get one shot, right? So if that one ad for that 335 grand doesn't hit for someone, it's gone. It's a dud. So, but with Facebook or, you know, these other platforms, if it's not working, you can turn it off right away, right? You know, you can turn that off right away. And so that's the leverage. And now, so I want to kind of talk to you about some more ideas real quick, you know, that you might have, right? And how you can monetize, you know, your skills. So, you know, there's people who have like cooking classes. So like, if you're really good at cooking, you could literally make content and package it up and, you know, teach people about cooking, something specialized about cooking. So, and then here's another thing. I can't tell you how powerful this is. Just because someone else is doing a business model, it doesn't mean that you can't do it. So let's say, for example, you know, Tiffany's business. So it's primarily, you know, the Live Richer Academy is made up of, you know, Black women, Latino women, you know, there's every type of race in here, but it's talking to the women that are, you know, particularly neglected or have been neglected in the space, right? So literally, let's say Dave Ramsey, you know, he has some financial education. They're like, why start a business? Dave Ramsey has something. No, you could start something because you resonate with your audience, and then you could literally have, you know, a very similar business because you could take that whole market and they'll resonate with you more, right? And you could do this for so many different models. It might be in fitness, right? It might be in whatever type of niche. It could be in business coaching. Because of the way that you do things, because of the way that you speak, because of the way you look, you know, people might vibe with you more, right? So all of those things, I want you to always kind of keep in mind right now, because you can start these businesses. Hello, look how I found it. You know, you can find these businesses, you know, online. Let me think of some more examples of people rocking out. I started talking about this card game. So this one guy, I know his name is Lars. He has this deck card game. He's been working online for a while, not really having much success. And the card game is just based around human interaction. So it basically has for memories that you've had in the past with the people, you play it with close friends and family, and then memories that you're gonna have in the future. And the game is about $25. He did like this Indiegogo thing to make sure his idea worked. He sold it. He pre-sold the cards without even having them in stock. And he's like, okay, I have an idea, it's working. And then here's what happened next. This guy goes from, he puts up an ad. He's like, he says, let me try out $100 on Facebook ads. And then what ends up happening is it works. And he's like, damn, okay. And he started scaling. And this was, his product was just based in the Netherlands. So it wasn't even, that's another thing. You could be in a geographical location and just start doing things, right? And then in the next 12 months, he ended up making over, and he had an article on Forbes as well. He ended up making, I think it was like 800,000, but like he was like, it was crazy. Like month one, you know, he was like making $2,000 a month just from all the little stuff that he was doing. He's like, I literally went from like making $2,000 a month all the way up to $100,000 within like 2 or 3 months. He's like, it was crazy, and all I was doing was just scaling up the ads. And it's I know it sounds uncomprehendable a lot of times, and I just want you guys to think bigger, because when you have a local business, I want you just to picture it like this. If you have a business within, whatever area that you're in, you only physically can reach a certain amount of people, right? You have the best restaurant in your town. People are only probably going to be driving about 20 miles max to come and, visit your restaurant. If you have a hair salon, same thing. If you have a gym, you're mathematically limited. But the World Wide Web, you have the ability to reach not only everyone in the United States, but everyone in the world. And so that enables you to scale so fast. And I don't think people really comprehend it. And the price right now is at a price that is, that anyone can get on. It's so, you can do free advertising. You can get started for free if you're doing YouTube videos, if you're popping on Instagram, if you're using Twitter, or you can use paid advertising to scale it up, exponentially. And they have all of these different targets where you can find your specific audiences. It's not by mistake that, we found you, right? How many of you I found you through, or, Tiff, you saw Tiff's video, or how many of you got started because of a Facebook ad? Let me know. Type the number 8 if you found us because of a Facebook ad. Yeah, I'm gonna say no. She's not saying that anymore. It's ads. 8, 8, 8. Cool, right? And there's so many different niches that you can that you can utilize. You just have to figure out how you're going to structure your business. And there's one-off type of things that you can do as well. I'll tell you, my mind does work a lot. So I'll tell you how I made money literally from Obama, right? So, okay, found it from YouTube, someone else's pages, an Instagram ad. Okay, right. So I want to talk about real quick how I use Obama to make money. And there's little things. You don't always have to start with creating this huge business. So in 2008, when Obama got elected, he had his inauguration, Oprah, because I was in Chicago at the time, she had this newspaper on her show back when she was still doing the show on ABC. She was like, oh my God, this is the greatest newspaper out. It was the Chicago Sun-Times Obama newspaper, and it's only in Chicago. She's like, we're so lucky, and it's only in Chicago. So how does my mind work? Everyone else is they're like, oh, this is great. And other people are like, but the way my mind works, I was like, I'm in Chicago. Let me go buy these newspapers, because what am I going to do? I put up this really ghetto blog. And so I put up the newspaper, $15, collector item, right? And then I charge $5 for shipping. And then I put up some simple Google AdWord ads. And then so anyone that was typing Oprah, newspaper, Chicago Sun-Times, anything, because there's going to be a flood of traffic now of people searching how they can get that newspaper. And then most people just sit back and it'll go over their head. Me, I'm a hustler. So I was boom, I bought the 50 newspapers. I put the ad up. They went within I think it was 20 minutes. Boom. And then so I went back. He's like, why do you need all these newspapers? I was like, don't worry about it, homie. I took all the newspapers. And I ran that. And then I think I ended up making $1,500 from the newspapers. And that was just one little simple thing. But I'm just trying to really move your mind to not always sit back on the sidelines. Opportunities are always around you, but also you have to know how to capitalize on them, as well. But yeah, let me actually that's all I have really. So yeah, me and Tiffany, that's how we connected. We've got so much new stuff coming down the pipeline. If you want to connect with me, I'd love to come out. I know I've been talking about actually doing an official Facebook training. Maybe I'll do that for y'all later on. We'll let you do like some official, and then maybe some of y'all can like give y'all businesses, and I'll make the whole training about how I would utilize Facebook to, to grow your businesses and, some of the content that we'll create. But let's see. So what are your thoughts on Fiverr? I think Fiverr is great. I use Fiverr on a regular basis. And then, are you talking about just using it or actually using it to make money? Because I also have another friend. People don't know, like, if you can really, if you're on it. I have a friend who makes over $10,000 a month consistently with Fiverr, and people think, oh, it's just a $5 gig. No, because his average order is like $28, and he just cranks out. He's been doing that for 4 years straight. He's done now, like, he has come up to like $500,000 earned through Fiverr, and then he started with, like, just a little junky, laptop, and his whole life has changed now. Let's see. But yeah, and I use it as a service. What program do you normally use to run your Facebook ads? I just jump on Facebook. I run my ads through Facebook. That was Kevin. That sounds cool. Yes, make a class. My hustle skills need some weight. Yes, we need a class. Don't worry. So yeah, we'll do a class. What platform do you use to make the new LRA? We use a platform called Thinkerific. Okay, someone says Google Ads. I started I do lashes on how they can grow. Yeah, there's so many things that you can utilize. Let me see if there's anything I'm missing that I actually wanted to share. No, that's pretty much it. And I can't urge you enough to, like I said, traveling. Oh yeah, if you want to watch any of the videos that I've done through travel, new stuff, and you can see it with good lighting and looking dope, if you type Passport Heavy into YouTube, you'll be able to see some of the videos and stuff that we drop when it comes to travel. Tiffany Typer is Thinkerific. But I've had fun with y'all. Can we send you our business ideas and you give us ideas on how to make it grow? I can't promise I'm going to see everyone's thing. What I can do is, like, if we make a thread, and then, like I said, maybe I'll do a class, and I pick maybe like the top 3 people, and then I'll do examples of how I would do that and utilize that. So, Avra, what books do you recommend? It depends what you want to learn. So for me, I think mindset is super key for me. Mindset is like everything. And so some of my favorite books is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clayson, The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews, The Science of Getting Rich by Waddles E. Waddles. The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And that's another crazy thing. When I was in school, I wasn't about books. I didn't like reading. I was voted most likely to show up late to graduation. I graduated with a 1.6 GPA. Never failed a class though. But I love reading. I love educating myself. I love learning. I love going to masterminds. You know, I love basic. I just love bettering myself. You said slow down, slow down. I'll type them up. So someone said, and if you guys could help the other women in the group by typing them in. So someone said, I have a wedding cakes business. How can I grow that market? The industry is saturated in Chicago. Rose says, what do you think about Kartra? I'll answer that here in a second. My friends actually own that platform, Kartra, but I haven't used it yet. But so the cake business, right, for the weddings. So here's another interesting thing that you might not know about Facebook. So, and you could definitely be the go-to cake woman in Chicago, and then or whatever city that you were in, right? So, because I know most people who are running cake businesses or bakery businesses, they're not going the extra mile when it comes to advertising. So here's one of the things that you can do is on Facebook. What's one thing women are just so excited about? They're always excited about flexing on Facebook. I said yes, oh my God, right? Women are always excited about flexing. They got their ring. And so what happens after that is Facebook then, you know, they change their status to engaged, right? And so Facebook has that data. So now you could literally, so before you might have to target all of the women in Chicago because you wouldn't be able to tell who's getting married and not. But now, because you could literally run an advertisement and Facebook has that kind of data, you can target just the engaged women in Chicago, and you know you can run ads to them. It's going to be a very targeted audience, and then you can just come up with creative image and tell a story. If you do a video, just displaying why your cakes are different. You know, you could just be that brand. It's on the tip of everyone's tongue when they're getting married because you just, basically pepper, Chicago to the married women. Okay. I don't know how long this is supposed to go. Tiff, is it an hour long? And plus it's like 3 a.m. here. So I'm like, I gotta get up in like 5 hours. Hey, Jackie, thank you for writing all of those books. I have a cake business too. If you name the books again, I'll type them for you. It's a wrap. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you for that. I hope you have enjoyed. I'm like the first guy to ever make InspireHer. It's truly been an honor. And I truly, hand over my heart, I feel blessed and honored, just to be a part of the community and, just helping you guys or helping you ladies in any way that I possibly can. Obviously Tiffany and, the entire, Budgetnista team goes above and beyond. And it's just exciting, just to be a part of something so great that I know will become even bigger and impact, more lives. And the little bit that I can do, with the knowledge that I have, I'm more than happy to share. So I'm glad you enjoyed. I'm out of here. Next time I do a call, I promise you I'm gonna have some good lighting. Literally, I ordered like these professional lights and they coming tomorrow though. From Amazon, I got a whole bunch of like studio stuff coming, and I'll be downstairs in the living room, nice setup. Anyways, and I appreciate you hanging out with me with my ghetto streaming. Literally, you can see like my bed frame or over there. Anyways, man, y'all have a good one, and I appreciate you. Take care.